timing, in specifically in real estate, we've learned in our lifetime that timing is really important. If you do the right thing at the wrong time, you lose everything in real estate. You do the right thing at the right time, my goodness, you're going to have an unbelievable return.
Hey, what's up, Masters? Welcome to another episode of Path to Mastery. I'm really excited today. I got to spend some time with my good friend Jairek Robbins again. And we just talked about change, and when times in life where you do need to make those changes, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just need to kind of keep moving forward on whatever path you're on. It's just an interesting conversation. I thought it was awesome, obviously. I just recently made a pretty significant change in my direction. So anyway, it's really cool. And listen, we're running our boot camp. We're starting it up again June 2nd. Really excited. And it's going to be the Path to Mastery boot camp. And right now, it's for everybody that signs up, I'm going to give you a $100 Amazon gift card. So if you get signed up right now, go register, go to my site. Just go to path2mastery.net for all your information. Everything's there. And if you register right away, you'll get a $100 Amazon gift card. So, hey, what go out on Amazon, buy yourself some great stuff, and take your business to the next level, because this is going to be the real deal, my friends. All right, anyway, that said, listen, I hope you enjoy this episode with Jairek, and have a tremendous rest of your day. Hey, Masters, welcome to another episode of Path to Mastery, and today I'm with my good friend Jairek Robbins. Jairek, what's up, brother?
Hey, how you doing, sir? Good to be here.
I'm doing well, my friend, and I know you're doing well out in sunny, beautiful Puerto Rico.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I know, it sounds like it, and also you got some really cool news. You're gonna be a dad soon, right? Coming up.
That's right.
June.
Our first little human on the way.
I love it. Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Thank you.
You guys, boy, girl?
We got a little boy. We haven't figured out a name yet. We're between Thor, Daku. What else do we have? We really liked Rumi, Daku, Thor. We just got a handful of names all over the board. We're waiting until we get to meet him. We're going to look at him and figure out which one he is.
That's cool, man. Wow, Thor, that's a pretty powerful name. I don't know much about the other two, but that's if you're named Thor, you're like that's the real deal, man.
Thor has a lot to live up to. Daku is short for, it's a Fijian name, which is Daku Waka, which is their kind of their shark god, like the shark king of the waters of Fiji. So Daku Waka is a very sacred name out there. Whenever the fishermen in Fiji go out to fish, they always pour some kava into the water to appease Daku Waka to make sure they have a good fishing trip and don't get eaten by the sharks.
Nice.
And then Rumi, I like Rumi. I found out Rumi is, I always knew Rumi as a poet. I think it's 18th or 13th century Persian poet, which just, he, as a poet wrote the most epic things that I really loved. But then as I did more research on the name of Rumi, it's a female name used in Japan. So we might need a different one for that. But I really loved R-U-M-I was a neat name.
Yeah, man.
So
I love it.
We've been playing with them. Haven't found it yet.
That's awesome. Well, hey, again, congrats. Those are all powerful names. So I'm sure when he shows up, you guys will know right away.
We'll take a peek at him. We'll know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, thanks for spending a few minutes with us. I think you're on the beach now. We had been texting, and I shared with you how I switched brokerages after 17 and a half years. And just kind of it got me thinking about, when we were coaching, I don't know, it's probably 7 or 8 years ago, right? How long has it been? Has it been? Yeah, about I think we met in 2001, right? You worked up here for a realtor event. And then we ended up coaching for a little bit after that. It was funny because I was considering leaving the company back then, and you had said, no, you can't leave. And you said that to me a few times, and I don't think I ever told you until recently that it kind of frustrated me because I was thinking, you know what, I should leave. But the interesting thing is, I was leaving because things weren't working, you know.
Yeah.
But it's just been a lot different this time. So that's why I wanted to have this conversation with you, man, and just kind of see. I just wanted to kind of let the world know, I guess, why I did what I did, and I couldn't think of a better person than you to kind of help me get that message out there.
Totally. And there's a few things. The reason why I would ever tell someone don't leave, there's two main reasons. One, I'd look to someone like a Warren Buffett. And if you look at businesses, the average business, normal, standard, small business in the country, regardless of industry, every 8 to 10 years, they die. And 75 to 95% of them don't make it past 10 years. And so, let's say 75, let's shoot on the lower side. So 75% of them are going to fail and 25% of them are going to make it. And the ones that make it doesn't mean they're profitable, doesn't mean they're winning, doesn't mean they're succeeding. It just means they made it. They're still alive as a business. And what's fascinating about that is if we took Warren Buffett and we look at, he's had 70 years of investing, 70 years, 70. If every 10 years he had to start over, would his financial numbers be anywhere close to where they are today? And the answer there is no. And it's because he had 70 years of compound interest working in his favor to grow and grow and grow. And if you look at Warren Buffett's numbers, if you look at his life earning over his lifespan, he started investing very young. He has 70 years of investment timeline.
Sure.
And it looks like it's grass growing for the first 40 years. It doesn't look like anything's happening. You're like, is this guy even doing something right? I don't know what he's doing. And then you look at the later part, the last 20 years or 15 years, and it looks like mountains, just Mount Everest showed up out of nowhere and took off. And the majority of his wealth has been made in probably 6 major deals. And so it's unbelievable. And you look at that, and what was in his favor all those years was the fact that he stood alive for 70 years. He didn't die, and he just kept growing and kept growing and kept growing. So there's one philosophy that's I'm so solid in staying with it. The other piece here, though, that's important.
Let me ask you that. So that's a good point. I don't know Warren Buffett's full, history. I obviously now he owns his own large brokerage, his own companies. But I'm guessing back in the day he started working for other companies. Do you know the answer to that? He had worked.
I think he was an individual investor in the beginning.
So he's always been just on his own.
Yeah, he was just investing on his own in the beginning. I don't know his timeline of who he worked with or when partners came on or stuff like that. But here's the other side of it. This is important. So one theory, one camp, one thought process would be the longer you can stay with something, the better, because your compound interest of knowledge, experience, network, know-how, all these things, the skill set multiplies over all those years, and you get better. What you could do now in real estate versus what you could do 20 years ago, you personally, you could do more with your pinky now than you could with all of your effort back then. And It's just because you know what to do. You know who to call, when to call, how to call, where to call, and you know exactly what's going to happen because you've done it. Now, there's the opposite side of that, which is, well, wait a second. If you're hiking and hiking and hiking and hiking, and then you hit a cliff, and you're like, wait a minute, I was trying to go up, and now I'm standing at the edge of a cliff. There is no more up. I need to find a mountain that has more mountain to climb, which is another philosophy. It's like, hey, I've climbed as high as this peak can go. There's no more peak here. I need more. I want more. I desire more. And this is the opposite side of there of his is stick with it. Just keep going up and down the same mountain and never stop going up and down the same mountain. And he does. He invests in the same kind of stuff. He does the same things. It's boring as can be. There's nothing special about it. You can read and learn his whole philosophy and repeat it yourself. The problem is it's boring, and most people don't like boring. Well, and so on the flip side.
Okay, does it matter, though? Because it's his mountain. So, right? So he's going up and down his own mountain. If you were going up and down someone else's mountain and you found out it wasn't the right mountain, right? Right? It depends on what the outcome is. So his is to be rich. And with being rich, he goes up and down the same mountain. Doesn't matter if it's his mountain, your mountain, my mountain, anyone's mountain. He will keep going up and down that mountain because it's making him rich to the tune of
billions and $80 billion net worth.
Yeah,
so he has no interest of which
well.
mountain he's climbing. He just keeps climbing the same mountain and does the same stuff over and over and over again. On the flip side, though, the one where it's like, hey, I want something new. I want some new scenery. I want a new track. I want a new path. I want a new journey. These are just as powerful. And there's plenty of people who've done this side that have been equally as successful. It's just a different way to do it. Both are equally powerful, but totally different. And so when I would tell someone to stay, I'm like, hey, let's start with Warren Buffett's method and just stick with it and have compounders just work in our favor. If someone's going to leave, the one thing that I would say, which is exactly what you did, and it's really, really smart, which is don't leave because it's hard. Don't leave because it's not working. Don't leave because you're not being as successful as you want. Figure out how to be successful first. Become the most successful person on the team, then quit because you want to do something else. And if you're willing to dig in and make yourself learn, make yourself acquire the knowledge, the skill set, the ability, then when you do leave, you can go anywhere and go succeed. But if you keep quitting just because it's not working, no matter where you go, you're going to land up quitting for the same reason. It just didn't work. And now you're stuck, and it's going to be very difficult to find a new home base. So you did exactly what we talked about, which was you stuck with it until you absolutely succeeded. And then you decided to take your skill set, your strength, your knowledge, your ability, your talent somewhere else and apply it. And you can be just as successful here as you could have been back there because you've built the skill set now and not just left because it wasn't what you wanted it to be or it wasn't, quote unquote, working at the time.
I agree with that. I 100%. I also feel like there's maybe more opportunity now because I'm in an industry that's changing a lot and
dynamically.
And there's disruption, there's new technology, there's new platforms, and now we're looking at a completely digital brokerage. But and I think one of the challenges I see, and I could say, hey, I probably should have made this move 3 years ago. But I don't know. You don't know the answer to that, right? Because the reality is if I did, I wouldn't have experienced the last 3 years that I grew tremendously here, right? I don't know. You can't predict the future, right? I can't go back and say, I mean, what's that saying? Like, yeah, of course I can, I don't even remember the saying, but yeah, you can always predict the future now or the past, but you can never predict the future or something like that. I'm just butchering that pretty bad. But anyway, I guess the point I'm trying to make
with decisions, a good decision is a good decision regardless of what the market's doing. And so if you've made a good decision, it's still going to be the best decision regardless if it's now, later, or early.
Masters, we're going to get you right back to the show. Listen, go right now. If you haven't paused yet, pause the episode. Go to path2mastery.net. Check out my boot camp starting June 2nd. You want to be in this boot camp, my friends. I'll tell you what, if you jump in this camp and after 4 weeks, you're like, you know what, that was not worth my money, I will reimburse you. That's how confident I am with this boot camp. So go to path2mastery.net for the 6-week boot camp. We're going all in together. Hey, also check out our sponsors, Vulcan 7. Without Vulcan 7, listen, this is going on 4 years. They've been supporting us. They got an awesome product. You can try it out by going to vulcan7.com/path to mastery. Check out all their products for 2 weeks for only $49. You're not going to be able to beat that deal. So want to share that with you. And again, if you want to get yourself a free book, go to davidsfreebook.com. Thanks and enjoy the rest of this show. Go register right now and get yourself a free $100 Amazon gift card. So stop the podcast, register now, get signed up for the 6-week boot camp, and get a free Amazon $100 gift card. You rock.
Timing, in specifically in real estate, we've learned in our lifetime that timing is really important. If you do the right thing at the wrong time, you lose everything. In real estate, you do the right thing at the right time, my goodness, you're going to have an unbelievable return.
Amazing company. It grew tremendously. I grew. I feel like there's an evolution with the industry itself, with passive income, with technology, with being able to offer more for less. And that's part of it. I looked at a lot of those opportunities, and now what's occurring to me, Jairek, is there's a lot of people that, I'm fortunate. I worked my way all the way to the top of the company. I mean, I spent the last 7 months working directly with Gary Keller and Jason Abrams, right? There's a lot of people that aren't at those levels yet, or even close to those levels. And I don't know if they're in the right model anymore to even get to that type of level. But what would you say to people like that are listening, that just kind of stay somewhere because it's comfortable, because they're dealing with the fear of change, because that's so common?
So when people are staying somewhere for the comfort of it, a lot of times, again, they're in things for all the wrong reasons at that point. I was talking to someone earlier today, and we were talking about this, and we said, most people who have a job somewhere, we said, well, why do you choose to have a job instead of owning your own company? And they said, because it's safe. I get a paycheck. I don't have to worry about next month. I don't have to try to figure out how to make it. And we started laughing, and we said, are you sure? Because people have 100-year-old companies that are multi-billion-dollar companies go out of business overnight. Most companies, any company on earth, again, you got to remember the statistics. Out of a 10-year period of time, somewhere between 75 to 95% of businesses will be out of business every 7 to 10 year cycle. Now, what that has to do with is most people can do pretty well in business when the tide's going up, meaning when the economy is getting better, when things are growing. Most anybody can figure out how to make money, but that's not where real business is determined. Real business acumen is determined when the tide goes out, when the economy goes down. Notice it's a 7 to 10 year cycle, 8 to 10 year cycle, we could say, when most businesses fail. And notice it's also an 8 to 10 year cycle when we go through a short-term debt cycle, meaning the economy goes up, the economy comes back down about every 8 to 10 years. And if those two match up pretty well, then really what's happening is all these business owners that only last 10 years, let's say, are just good at riding the wave up when the economy is good. And as soon as the economy turns, most of them, about 75 to 95% of them, go out of business like that. And so the key that we start to look at is when you say someone's staying somewhere because they're comfortable, that's the same as, I opened a business because I just knew how to do it, and we'll see what happens. And every 8 to 10 years, these people go out of business. Coming back to that original thought of Warren Buffett, if he had to start over every 10 years in his investing career, he would be nowhere close to the net worth he has today. It's because he had 70 years of compound interest that got him to this $80 billion net worth. The compound interest over 70 years, not 7, 10-year cycles, but 70 years altogether. And so if we look at that, if we circle back, then we look at the concept of it's not how well you can do when times are good. It's do you have the business acumen to continue to succeed when the market comes down? Yeah. And in the U.S. right now, we're at the beginning of a 2 to 3 year, possible 11 to 15, but most likely a 2 to 3 year deleveraging process where the economy is going to hit a long-term debt cycle reset, and it's going to go down significantly. And so right now, if someone's staying somewhere because it's safe, I would say good luck, because we're about to see 75 to 95% of businesses under the age of 10 years old go out of business. And so if they're taking a job with somewhere just because they think it's safe and it's comfortable and I just get my paycheck, well, we've already seen, unemployment jump to 20% in the last few weeks here. All those were safe jobs for the most part. The economy got bad, things tightened up, and all of a sudden 20% of people are unemployed. So I don't think staying somewhere because it's comfortable is the best idea, because there's a good chance, if you're not passionate about it, if you're not determined, if you're not focused, if you're not willing to fight for it, if you're not willing to put in the extra effort, there's a good chance there won't even be a job there in the near future because of what's going on in the world and the economy. And so you got to find the thing that you're willing to be passionate about, you're determined to work on, you're focused, you're excited, you're passionate, you're fired up. And it doesn't mean there's no business. I mean, in real estate, when the market completely comes down in a deleveraging for 2 to 3 years, where all the deals are going to be made is when people who bought a bunch of assets run out of money and need to sell their assets.
Sure. Yeah.
And they're like, hey, I don't have the money to keep my, house at the Cape anymore. I don't have enough money to keep my summer home or my winter home, sometimes even my main home. People run into that situation. They're like, dude, I ran out of cash. I can't pay my mortgage. I need to sell this thing now. I need the cash out of it. And so there's a ton of deals that happen in that time. You just got to be positioned properly when it comes to real estate on how to make sure you're the person they call when they need to sell their house now. You're the group they want to deal with when they need to sell something now. And you've got a bunch of buyers in your pocket that these guys are like, hey, if you find me something that looks like this, sounds like this, rhymes with this, call me. I'll take it cash right now. Like you got to have a big old pile of those people piled up so that when these transactions start to happen, you're the go-to guy or go-to group that all these transactions go through. Because tons of them happen. You just got to be the hub where all the magic happens in between. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think there's going to be, like, I've been in the business. I went through 2008. Most experts say it's not going to go down to that level again. It won't be like that because of obviously what created that last challenge in 2008 was the mortgage industry. But that said, I mean, there's going to be opportunities. There's going to be, I think there's going to be a slowdown to an extent. Nobody knows the exact, how detrimental it's going to be or how much it's going to slow down. But I think, I guess my point is there's so many, I feel like people just stay, because it's the comfortable thing to do. And I talk to so many people that, they tell me they have these big goals. They're nowhere near the big goals. But yet instead of maybe making a change and trying something else that would help them, I think they let fear stop them. I think that's really, I think, the message. And for me, I made this move at a place where I was offered, I had a lot of opportunities and it just didn't make sense anymore. And then when I left, I was surprised by like, wow, I didn't realize like there was another whole world outside of where I was. And almost to the point where I feel like I was brainwashed, It's amazing, and I know I just went in a lot of different directions with that. But what would you say to the people that are just staying someplace? And it doesn't have to even be at a company; it could be where they are in their life or anywhere when it comes to fear.
So fear is an interesting topic. Fear is used a lot in personal development industry. Fear is used a lot in trainings and books and all this kind of pop psychology stuff. What I would look at beyond fear is stress. And what they're doing is they're mitigating stress by finding something that feels comfortable enough that makes them feel safe so that their stress comes down. What we don't realize is we have an extraordinary amount. There's positive stress, which is like getting hyped before a game, getting fired up and lifting weights to break down muscle. That's positive stress we put on the body. And then there's negative stress. Negative stress can be worrying so much you go to depression, worrying so much that you can't sleep at night, worrying so much that it affects your immune system, overly stressed to the point that you have not a shot of cortisol, but you have like buckets of cortisol pumping into your blood all day long. When this kind of stress and worry happens, it literally shrinks your prefrontal cortex over time. Your prefrontal cortex is the executive decision-making part of your brain where you make intelligent decisions from. So as a business owner, we tend to want that to be bigger. we want a larger prefrontal cortex, which helps us make better decisions. I'll give you an example. If you look at the 3 worst financial decisions you've ever made, and we got to have a gimme or a take back, how much money would you have back in your business or bank account if you could take back the 3 worst financial decisions you've made? For most people, I've asked this question to business owners for the last few months. Every Friday we do a training, and I've seen 30,000, 50,000, 15,000, 20,000, 100,000, 5 million, 2 million, 10 million, everything in between. If you could just get 3 decisions back financially, just 3. And I said, okay, were all those decisions made in an emotional state or on paper with pure logic, discerning outcomes, really defining, knowing what you're doing, knowing the options, and really fine-tuned on paper, totally logical? And 99% of people say purely emotional decisions. I got hyped, I got excited, I got nervous, I got worried, I got I got hooked, whatever. Something happened that jacked them up emotionally, and they went for it, and then they got whacked, and they lost their $10 million or whatever it was. And I said, okay, so in this process, if we flip that over and we say, okay, if fear is holding them back, or really it's stress avoidance. They think it's too stressful to change, and it's less stress if I just stay. That's what they're really saying.
Yeah,
we go,
nailed it. Yep.
Okay, so what about this? If we look at the little amount of consistent stress, the nagging stress, the little ugly, like, I know I don't love it, but it pays the bills. I know it's not for me, but at least, how am I going to feed my kids if I change? I know I don't love it. That little nagging stress that exists, we know it's shrinking your prefrontal cortex. It's causing you to make worse decisions financially, physically, mentally, emotionally. It's causing you to have worse sleep at night. It's causing you to have a worse relationship. All these things are correlated if you look at the research around too much stress. On the flip side, is there things you could start doing to mentally, emotionally, and physically get yourself in the best place humanly possible so that you can make an intelligent decision? You can make a really smart decision. You can make a decision that makes sense, that logically lines up with your short-term and long-term goals. And there's a few things. Meditation for 10 minutes a day is shown to literally grow the gray matter in your prefrontal cortex, which helps you make better decisions over time. So 10 minutes of meditation a day. We use a device called Muse that's really cool. It tracks your brain waves while you do it. Gives you biofeedback in the moment. So little tweeting birds when you get it right. Lightning bolts and thunderstorms when you have thoughts in your head. But you have a storm in your mind. So clear the storm, get the birds is the whole game. We use stuff like there's a thing called Apollo Neuro. It's this little band that vibrates on your ankle and tells your nervous system it's okay to relax and go to bed. Actually causes your heart rate variability to go up. Your heart rate variability is linked to how well you can calm or amplify your energy in your body through your breath, or through this little bracelet. You can expand your heart rate variability, which means you have the ability to turn on your energy faster and slow it down and turn it off quicker. That's a very powerful tool. And super athletes all have a high heart rate variability, but you can train your heart rate variability. That's something we've been working on people. Having a powerful peer group. Harvard says it determines how long you live, how happy you are, and how successful you are. And so choosing to build a powerful peer group also lowers your stress and helps you live longer, which is amazing. And so any of these things, between meditation, working out, random act of kindness, gratitude journal, any of these things, using the heart rate variability gear, any of these things can, if you do it consistently, can get you mentally, emotionally, physically into the strongest, most resilient frame you've ever been mentally. Then make the decision, because now you're making a decision based on strength and courage and being prepared, instead of a weak decision where you're just trying to avoid stress and not go through the hassle of having to make a change.
Well, let me ask you this. So, and those are tremendous. I've been doing transcendental meditation for a year. I've been meditating for 9 years. Everything
powerful.
You said, yeah, it's amazing. One of the things that does get in the way, though, is, let's say somebody can't. So basically what I'm hearing from you is, if you make an emotional decision, typically it's a bad decision. But if you think things out and it makes sense and logically, but I saw a lot of people, I'd say, I don't know, you may know the percentage better than me, but most people just continue to think and think and think and think, and then they never actually make the decision. So how does somebody get beyond that? Because I talk to so many people, oh my God, that sounds so great. So let me think about it. And then you talk to them 2 weeks, oh, I'm still thinking about it. And then they just kind of get busy doing what they normally do. I mean, how common is that? You just keep thinking and thinking and thinking and never take action.
So let me think about it is nothing to do with thinking. Let me think about it is really clear. The value you're offering me is not a value worth taking action on right now. That's all. Let me think about it is nothing more than saying, hey, I don't think that what you're offering me is going to help me get more of what's most important to me immediately by doing something about it right now.
Got it.
And I always give the example. If I had a briefcase and I went up to someone and they were like, oh man, I just don't have the money to do this. I don't have the money to do this. I said, listen, I got $10 million cash in this briefcase. If you go find me $750,000 cash in the next 35 minutes, I'll literally give you the $10 million. Do you think someone could magically come up with $750,000 cash?
They'll figure it out. Yeah.
That's the truth. They'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would be like, literally, I just don't know what to do. But if you opened it, you're like, no, look, it's $10 million. All you got to do is find $750,000 cash in 35 minutes and you can have it. And they're like, nah. And the truth is they don't know if it's real. So we go to the bank. Bank puts it in the machine. Ting. Yep, it's really $10 million. Then they check it with a little marker. Yep, it's non-fraudulent. It's totally real cash. Then they check and make sure it's legal. Yeah, totally legal tender. It's totally good. If they have certainty, and all they're doing is getting a little more certainty every time we do another check, by the time we get done with all the checks, my God, they will figure it out in 35 minutes. They will call a friend. They will phone someone.
Sure.
They will flag someone down on the highway. They will go into the bank and take a loan against everything they own. They will figure out how to come up with the cash that they did not have to solve a problem to get access to something that was right there. Now, the challenge is we have a bunch of marketers who violated this, and they've made $10 million promises based on perceived value. Perceived value is very different than actual value. So we have people who violated this, where they said, if you can come up with your $750,000, I'll give you $10 million worth of perceived value. Now, they left the word perceived out of the conversation, obviously, but they give them $10 million worth of perceived value, and now people are radically disappointed when they only get, $640 or $230 or $10,000 worth of actual value when they drop their $750,000. Now, you can move these numbers to whatever they need to be. They paid $7.50 and they only got $2.20 of value. They paid $7 million and only got $3 million worth of value, because these marketers were pitching perceived value, which pumps up and inflates the perception, but in reality doesn't change the real value of it. My thought is, why not just add real value to this? Why not give people actual value? Like, pay me $1,000 and I will literally give you $7,000 worth of actual value, tangible, hard, tactical value. You can resell it to someone else and it's literally worth $7,000. Now, the question people would have is, why would you do that? Why would you give someone $7,000 for only $1,000? That doesn't make any sense. Like, if I gave you $7,000 worth of gold and you only paid me $1,000, they'd be like, you got ripped off. Like, not necessarily. It depends on how well I've structured my business to be able to give away that kind of actual value. And so we tend to be in the business of saying, hey, I want people to get a 10x value in working with us. If you give me $1,000, I want to find a way. And if I can't find it, I'm going to refund you your money, that I can give you $10,000 worth of value. And if I can't get you $10,000 worth of hard, actual, tangible, real value, not the right deal. You're just not my perfect client, because any of my best clients, every time they give me $1,000, they're going to get 10,000 back in return. Same thing. If you're helping someone invest in a property as an investor, you want them to be able to pay $1 or pay 50 cents for $1. That'd be amazing as an investor. If you can get that person to pay 50 cents for a property that's worth $1, holy Moses, that's what Warren Buffett does. He looks for mispriced assets, things that are valued at $1, but he only has to pay 50 cents for it. That's a mispriced asset. Someone messed up on the pricing, and my God, he gets to buy it, and he's going to immediately double his money just on the day of purchase. Now, those are investors. Sellers, again, most sellers are trying the perceived value route. We got a new shingle put on our roof. Well, updated roof. I was like, wait a minute, did you update the whole roof or just the shingle? Doesn't matter. Here's the roof guy that came out. I updated 5 shingles on my whole roof, and therefore it's an updated roof. Next, let's say what else we could write on this thing. And they're pumping up perceived value instead of real value. And that's okay. That's part of the sales process. That's part of the buying process. The buyer has to say, or the investor has to say, can I comb through this pile of stuff and find out what's real and what's not? And the seller, they put lipstick on their pig and they make this thing look like the sexiest pig that's ever walked the block. And they're trying to sell it. And so there's a game going on between these two facets of life. Someone's trying to squeeze the most they can out of one side, and someone's trying to, figure out what the real value is and pay less than the real value. And that's kind of the game at hand. And as a real estate agent, you have a very fun job, which is the dance in between those two people. How do you help massage that transaction so both people hopefully get what they want?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, hey, I'll tell you my big takeaway from this conversation is what you just said about value. And, I think for me, I'm having a lot of conversations with a lot of people, and they're just not seeing the value. But I think the key word is yet. And the other thing I'm listening is I'm super impatient. So I talk to somebody and I expect them to just jump right. You know what I mean? And I think that's also something I need to work on myself. But this has been a tremendous conversation. And I think when you said, the reality is if somebody's not taking action and they're not seeing the value, that's kind of like a smack in the face. I love it. That's awesome.
That one stings a little, but it's true.
It is true.
And watch this. Just ask a better question around it. Yeah. What's the value you'd have to offer someone that it would be insane to say no to?
Yeah, I love it.
And if you find that answer and you offer it to people, they're going to look at what you're offering and they're going to say to themselves, I would be insane to not take him up on this offer right now. Yeah. Literally. Like I'd go home and tell my wife and she would hit me and be like, are you insane? Of course you have to get that.
Yeah.
Look at the offer. That's unbelievable value. And so you got to package it up and say, what's the real true value you have to offer someone that it would be insane to pass up on?
I love it.
What kind of value would you have to offer people that they would instantly stop working with someone else and instantly start working with you because of the amount of value that you add? That's the big question for business. Most businesses don't pay attention to that. They just try to offer their version of value. But if I got real specific on the type of person I like to work with, what would I have to offer them that they would instantly stop working with my competition and instantly start working with me instead because of what I'm offering them?
That's a great question. Well, and it's different for everybody, right?
How do you know you're actually delivering that? A lot of people go like, oh, here's the value I offer. And they go, okay, how do you know it's actually being delivered? How do you know the plane's landing? And they're like, because I deliver it. No. If I shut off the lights and I winked at a pretty girl a bunch of times from around the room, if she can't see it, was it working? No, my eye's going to be sore from all the winking, and she's not going to know I did anything because it was pitch black. You got to turn the lights on. You got to let people know the value you're adding, and you got to make sure it's the kind of value they want to receive. There's certain people that if I looked across the room at my wife and winked, she'd be very excited to receive that value. If I looked across the room at a perfect stranger that I've never met and winked at her, she might be pissed that I'm winking at her. That's not the value she wants to receive from me. So I got to figure out what's the value this person wants to receive, and then make sure I know that they're actually getting it. That's another piece. Just because I'm dishing it out doesn't mean it's actually that they're actually getting it.
That's a fantastic point, man. This episode, this conversation, I should say, is a lot deeper than I had expected. I appreciate you, man. For people that are interested in you still doing coaching? Are you still working with people, or we haven't spoken
a little bit? Just a handful of clients. The things we're working on right now, we have a small business owner mastermind and a small business owner free training we're doing to help people navigate the chaos going on in the world right now. Okay. We do a free training every Friday at 11 a.m.
Really?
And we have people from all over the world come and join us. And we focus on, how do we protect your business and make sure that it survives this chaotic time? And people are loving it.
What, 11 a.m. Eastern, Pacific? What time zone?
Eastern time, New York City time.
I love it.
And so we've helped people in that save anywhere between $3,000 a month all the way up to $5,400 a month, which is like $60,000 for the year. The biggest group was a group in Amsterdam. They saved $300,000 off their expenses just by that free course alone this year.
So how does somebody sign up for that, Jairek?
JarekRobbins.com/SOS. Now, I don't get to use SOS very often on my website. Right. Save our stuff, we could say. Right. But I figure now with a global pandemic, it's a worthy time to throw up an SOS for most people. So JarekRobbins.com/SOS. And it just has a little small business survival kit you can download, which is very, very valuable. And then it has an invitation to come and join us for a free training on Friday.
Okay, awesome, man. Well, listen, I just want to say I appreciate you doing this. And any final thoughts or anything else you want to add?
I mean, my final thought is congratulations on the move.
Thanks, man.
As much as I'm a big pusher of stay with something as long as you can, I'm also, when people have the courage, when people have the guts, when people have the strength and the bravery to say, hey, I'm going to take this step and I'm going to take a move in the right direction, I always applaud that. It's a very powerful moment in life.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. And, you said earlier, one of the reasons I made it were some of the people I'm partnering with are just at such high levels in the real estate world. And they're just we're building something that doesn't even exist yet. It's awesome, dude. So really exciting. So thank you for that. I appreciate that.
So welcome.
Masters, I hope you enjoyed the show. Listen, before you jump to what's next, give me 45 seconds. Don't forget to check out our sponsors, Vulcan7.com. Guys, everything you need for your prospecting needs, everything. Go to Vulcan7.com/path to mastery. Also, get yourself a free audiobook on Audible. Just go to davidsfreebook.com. That's it. Go to davidsfreebook.com and get yourself just about any book on Audible. My friends, I just want to say I so appreciate you investing your time here, your energy here. I hope you get a ton from it. And please, if you're willing, go give us a review. Your reviews help tremendously. And please share the episode, the podcast with somebody else. Again, it just helps us grow, helps us get better guests. Not that we even need better guests, just helps us get more great guests. So listen, again, I appreciate you investing your time here, and I hope you have a tremendous rest of your day or your evening or whenever you're listening to this show. You rock.